Absa family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. No long tail. We like them simple and easy. Log on to absa.com.gh and discover all the possibilities in banking.
Like them simple and easy. Alande. Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Be at the day, I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks, city check.
Join the Absa family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. No long tail. We like them simple and easy. Log on to absa.com.gh and discover all the possibilities in banking.
Like them simple and easy. Alande. Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Be at the day, I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks, city check.
Join the Absa family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. No long tail. We like them simple and easy. Log on to absa.com.gh and discover all the possibilities in banking.
Like them simple and easy. Alande. Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Be at the day, I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks, city check.
Join the Absa family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. No long tail. We like them simple and easy. Log on to absa.com.gh and discover all the possibilities in banking.
Like them simple and easy. Alande. Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Be at the day, I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks, city check.
Join the Absa family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. No long tail. We like them simple and easy. Log on to absa.com.gh and discover all the possibilities in banking.
Like them simple and easy.
Good morning and welcome to the May edition of Absa Ready to Work. And we always tell you your story matters. I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering to what extent we mean by that tag, your story matters. Now, everything that affects your life is important to us. What you do to gain employment while you're in school, how you're coping, with your studies, with friends, with all the pressures from home. And even after that, after you found a job, how to stay afloat and ensure that you keep rising up, in your institution and becoming the best version of yourself. If you're in your business, what are you doing to ensure that your business grows even further? And that's why we say every aspect of your story matters to us. And so today we're talking about one aspect of that, but all over social media. And of course, when you walk into our branches everywhere or on our online platforms, we let you understand that every aspect of your life and your story matters to us. And so you're welcome to one way by which we can talk about some of your stories and give you solutions to your problems. And that's Absa Ready to Work. And for all of you who have joined us over the last couple of years for Absa Ready to Work, we're grateful to you. If you just joined us, we're happy that you've joined us. And you're probably wondering, what is Absa Ready to Work? Now, this is a platform that gives you all the skills and then improves your skills so that you can gain some employability. You can do better in your field of endeavor. Whatever it is, we ensure that you're ready for whatever challenge comes your way in school, at work, wherever. And today is no different. But we want to remind you to complete the modules. Now, all you have to do is to download the Absa Ready to Work app on iOS, Google Play Store, and also on Huawei Shop. If you download the app, just go through the modules, complete it, and of course, your life will never be the same. I don't want to sound like a pastor, but yeah, I'm serious about what I'm saying. And today on Absa Ready to Work, we're talking about anxiety and giving you the opportunity to share your challenges with us. Are you usually anxious about things? Whenever you have to do something, do you have that fear that grips you and you're not sure, whether you can do it or not? And then eventually you go through it, but you're anxious throughout. How do you deal with it as a young person? And that's the conversation that we're going to be having today. Reason why we're talking about anxiety and how to cope with this is because if you look at the statistics, it's not too great. You might think that, well, it says that estimated 4% of global population suffers from anxiety disorder. And you say 4%, well, that's small. But when we give you the number, it's actually 301 million people. Now, there was a study that was conducted sometime last year, and it said that out of 10 people that were studied, 9 out of the 10 were anxious about something. So that's very scary, and that's why we want to give you that opportunity. You may not be bold enough to talk about it openly, but you might be watching us on YouTube right now or on Facebook at Absa Ghana, and we're grateful that you joined us. Remember to always add the hashtag Absa Ready to Work if you want to ask any question or you want to contribute to the conversation. And I'm not the one going to give you all the details. Of course, I am not the professional in this field. So we have assembled two incredible women who do this on the daily. They are from the University of Ghana. We have Edwina Paintsel. She's a counseling psychologist. Hello, Edwina. You're welcome.
Hello.
Are you anxious this morning?
Not at all.
You're not, eh? Okay, well, she's mastered it, so she's not anxious. But Harriet Osei-Bonsu is a clinical psychologist also from the University of Ghana. Good to have you.
Nice meeting you.
I guess I don't even have to ask you if you're anxious at this point
Not
because
at all.
you both have mastered it. So
Yeah.
tell me a bit about what you do at the University of Ghana campus. You're a counseling psychologist.
Yes.
What does that entail?
So for the counseling psychologist at the University of Ghana, we help students and also staff deal with just daily pressures and daily things that they go through in general. And then also we also do career related stuff for students.
I see. How about you, Harriet? As a
Okay.
clinical psychologist, what does your job entail?
So as a clinical psychologist, I offer mental health therapies to students and staff dependents and staff as well.
Okay.
And also other life challenging issues. Most of the time people think that it's only those who are having severe mental health issues that clinical psychologists see. No, even if you are having challenges with your daily life, you can come to see a clinical psychologist.
I'll
And
tell
we
you
are there.
something. So I read psychology at the University of Ghana, and I think it's in level 300 that, they start introducing you to the various parts of psychology.
Yes.
And clinical psychology was what I enjoyed the most.
Wow.
I really wanted
Wow.
to become a clinical psychologist.
Wow.
But at the point I thought it was boring or something. I wasn't sure. But now I regret it. I wish I had. I
Let's
had gotten
not
a
come back
master's
to
in
it.
it. I should come back to it and
Yes.
help,
Yes.
right? Well, let's see about that. But first of all, when we say anxiety, what is it? Is it a disorder? Is it a form of depression? Is it fear? How do you define anxiety? Harriet, I'll start with you then.
Okay, so anxiety is a normal human reaction. We all have some form of anxiety, okay? However, when it interferes with your daily function, that's when it becomes a disorder that you need to seek help for. So it's a mental and physical reaction that you have as a result of you perceiving a threat.
Okay.
So the threat is perceived one, it's not an actual one. So I can be here and be thinking that, after school, I might not get work.
Okay.
So I'm perceiving a threat that, no, all the 4 years I've been in school, no show. So that will elicit some form of anxiety reaction. But it doesn't end there. When you go beyond that to interfere my daily functions, then there's a need to attend to that.
When you say when it goes further to interfere with your daily functions, give us an example of how this has happened in people's lives.
So let's say I'm a student, level 400, did a course that, it's not all the courses that you have a clear path that, after this, let's say you did medicine, after medicine, I'll be a doctor. But there are some courses when you do, you are not sure of what you are going to do because it's open. It's just a stepping stone for you. So I'm not sure whether when I finish, I'm going to get a job. Probably I've seen someone who did that same course and they didn't get a job. So now that I'm approaching the time of graduating, I will not be a student forever. So I'm thinking, what will happen?
Yeah.
Instead of me to put systems in place to be able to get the job I want, then I'll withdraw and accept the fact that I wouldn't get the job. It's a threat, so it's preventing me from doing something.
Okay.
So instead of me going for, let's say, an interview because of the anxiety, I feel the course I did, even if I go for the interview, I
won't
won't get the
get
job.
it.
So it isolates me. I don't do what I'm supposed to do. It interferes with the function that I'm going. Or if I'm having a presentation, like today, I'm supposed to be on this platform. And if I'm anxious and it prevents me from not coming, or I call that Bella, this work that you are giving me, I don't think I can come. I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling well, but I'm scared. I'm anxious of what? Being here. So it has prevented me from or caused an interference in my daily function, the things that I'm supposed to do.
Oh, I see. So Edwina, I'll bring you in at this point. Can we say that anxiety is equal to fear?
So anxiety can lead to fear. So if you don't, example, if you anticipate, as she said, that this is going to happen to you and you don't do anything about it, and then now actually it happens, then we move it to fear.
Okay.
So fear is actually when the thing actually happens to you. When
I need you to project a bit.
Yes, so when the situation actually happens, then it's fear.
Oh.
But when you are anticipating that it will happen and it hasn't yet happened, then that's when it's anxiety.
How do I know I'm anxious? What are the symptoms or signs?
So there are various symptoms of anxiety. So some of the common symptoms is when you start to shake, you start to think that you are not doing it right. You think that sometimes some people start to sweat, start to get headaches, start to assume that they are being attacked, but in actual sense, they are not being attacked. So that's when it's anxiety. That's when you know that you are being anxious. And then it starts to, as Harriet said, it starts to interfere with your daily life.
But if you say sweat, sometimes, the place is hot. So it's not as if I'm anxious, but the place is hot. I have to do a presentation and I'm feeling hot and I'm sweating. Someone will sit somewhere and assume that just because I'm sweating, I'm anxious, when that's not the case.
No, that's not the case, because as Harriet said earlier on, it's when it starts to interfere with your daily activity. So now you are sweating, you are anxious, your heart is beating and all that. So because of that, you are not going to actually go for the presentation. Then you are anxious, then anxiety comes into it. But however, if you are just sweating, the place is hot, general sweat that students will feel and all that, then that one is not anxiety. Then that one is just maybe a little fear, or probably when it's actually happening to you, then fear has come into it. But we will say it's not really, maybe some form of anxiety, but it's not really anxiety.
So if that's the case, if you identify these signs, how do you deal with it? Now, I'm asking that because for me, and for a lot of people, in the spotlight, they'll tell you that right before I take my first step or I deliver my first line on stage, I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm not sure how to go. So I sort of rehearse it in my head. Once I deliver my first line, I'm good. And it will depend on how well I deliver my first line. That's what will determine how well I progress, in my job. So for me, I always tell myself, and that's how I've learned to deal with my anxiety. Your first move should be your best move. And after that, just flow with it. And if it doesn't go well, it always impacts, my performance throughout. That's how I cope with it. How are some people, or how would you advise people to manage their anxiety, especially for things like this?
Okay. So you realize that I said anxiety is a perceived threat. So meaning that it starts from your thinking pattern, the way you perceive the situation. So in order to deal with your anxiety, you need to replace your distorted thinking pattern with a positive one.
Okay.
So if you are able to replace the distorted one, the negative one with the positive one, it goes a long way to help you get relief from the other symptoms of the anxiety that you are going through.
That's a lot of mental work. Already your mind is stressed. How do you replace that negative energy with the positive one? How do you do it?
So replacing the negative one with the positive one, you challenge it with facts.
Okay.
So let's say I did psychology and I feel when I finish school, I'm not going to get work to do. What is the fact about it? How many people did psychology and after that they didn't get work to do? Or probably you knew Bella. Bella did psychology and didn't get a job to do in psychology. So you feel when you are done, you also not get. Are you the same person as Bella? Is the circumstances around Bella's situation the same as yours? So you need to challenge that negative thought with the facts. That will make you have a positive thinking pattern and you'll be more relaxed.
It's easy for us to say, you know, but
It
when
comes-
you are in there, especially when you are going to write exams, you're not going to look at what facts and figures about did this person wrote it and didn't fail. What's the guarantee that sometimes you learn so hard, you know, you feel like you're prepared. Then the first question just beats you and it affects your entire, you know,
Yeah.
being.
You remember you earlier on said that you know yourself, so you know how to deal with your anxiety. So first of all, you need to identify yourself. You need to identify yourself, know your triggers, and then you get to work on it. So that's something you need to know, how to identify your triggers, how to identify yourself. You know yourself that, okay, after the first thing, and then if you go well, it goes to go well throughout.
Okay.
So if you know that you're the type of person that you get scared about such things, you get scared, then you know how to work on it.
Give us practical examples. You play in that field all the time. I'm sure you've had students come to you complain about something. What's the most practical example you can give us?
Example, like a student has exams, and this student knows that anytime I go, the first exams. So I had a student who says that the first paper that she writes, she has running stomach. She gets anxious about it, but then after that first paper, she's okay.
fine.
All other papers she writes, she doesn't get running stomach again, and she's okay. So then she has identified, and she now knows that that is what is causing it. So we get to get her mind side and tell her that, okay, so why are you scared? Why do you get scared, or why do you get anxious for the first paper? Is it because you think you won't be able to wake up early? You think you won't be able to do this? You've not learned properly and all that. Then we work on why. We work on all the whys, and then after that she can actually
So in her
go.
case, how did she work on? I'm guessing that now she got to a point where she can write the first paper without having any running stomach.
Yes.
How did she manage that? What did she do?
So one of the things is she got to understand that, okay, it was just her mind playing tricks on her, that she's going to write a paper, and so she should get scared about it, because she knows she has prepared properly. She knows she has learned for that paper, unless she didn't learn for it. But if she knows that she has learned for it, she's very prepared for it. So then now she tells herself, as Harriet said, she puts the positive thinking into her mind, and she tells herself that this is a paper, I'm going to write it. I shouldn't be anxious about it. I will do well. Or whatever the case is. This is always happening to me. She tries to put positive things into her head to know that, okay, this is something that she needs to face and go through.
So it's not as if
Yeah.
she was not prepared for the exam. She
No.
was fully prepared.
Yes.
I see. Well, before I go to Harriet, I just want to remind you that we are streaming live on Facebook at Absa Bank Ghana Limited, and also on YouTube at Absa Bank Ghana Limited. And we would like to hear from you. We don't want to have this conversation among ourselves. You are the reason we're having that conversation. If you have any experience, any challenge, we're talking about how you can deal with anxiety as a young person, whether you're in school, you're at work, you're home, dealing with family issues, whatever the problem is. Anxiety comes in some way, somehow. How are you able to deal with it? And if you have questions for our guests here today, of course, Edwina is a counseling psychologist and Harriet is a clinical psychologist. Good morning, by the way, to Andrew Ejare, Anita Nyamiye Mensa. You're watching us also on Facebook. And to David O.A. He's already started asking his question. We'll come to this, a very important question you're asking, but I wanted a practical example of how you've also helped a young person cope with anxiety.
So, as Edwina said, you have to know yourself. You have to know your triggers. There are different coping mechanisms in dealing with anxiety. So what might work for me as Harriet might not work for Edwina. So when you know your triggers, you know what exactly will work for you. Let's say a student who is supposed to do a presentation. You know that you are not so good in public speaking. Definitely is going to affect you. When you get there, you are going to get anxious. So what are some of the things that you can do to take charge? Anxiety comes to some people when you feel you don't have control over the situation you find yourself in. So what will you do to be able to be in charge of the situation you find yourself in? It could be you've prepared. Sometimes you get there, as you said, changing your thought pattern is different. But sometimes there are techniques that you can use to make you feel that you are in reality, not in the past or in the future. Just as Edwina mentioned of what are some of these coping mechanisms. You can use relaxation.
Okay.
Relaxation, you see the symptoms that anxiety give is a reaction to threat. It's a normal thing. As we are here, let's say if a lion comes here, what are we going to do? We will start, our heart will start beating. We will be shaking, we will be sweating. It's a normal reaction. Some form of anxiety is good because it aids productivity. So it helps you to be able to escape from that danger. Okay, so I know these are the things that is going to happen. So the same reaction is going to happen when I find myself going to do a presentation that I feel I don't have control over. How do I get myself to calm down? I can do relaxation. Simple relaxation like deep breathing. Those of us who went to school in the 80s and the 90s, when we go for assembly, they tell us, breathe in, breathe out. We didn't know the importance of it. So we just do it anyhow. But doing these kinds of relaxation help your muscles to relax. When you are relaxed, your body sends a signal to your mind that you are not in threatful, dangerous situation like a lion. It's just a normal people that are there. So you are able to relax. So relaxation is one thing that you can use to...
Hold on. So let's say a lion comes in right now. We are not going to do breathe in, breathe out.
For
By the time we finish breathing out, the lion would have devoured us.
For the lion, it's an actual threat.
Okay.
Yes.
It's an actual threat. So that's why you are going through those symptoms to be able to run away.
Yes. So that's where the fear comes in.
That's when the fear comes in. But your presentation that you are thinking a whole lot of things about the people standing, it's not the actual one. It's a perceived threat. So you are still exhibiting the symptoms as the actual threat. So you have to do something to relax you, to be able to take charge of the situation.
Aside relaxation, what else?
Okay, so one thing is having enough sleep. This really goes to our students. During examination time, that's the time that we think that we should burn the candle.
And burn it so that you can sleep.
No. After that you can.
Most of us, we wait till like 2 weeks to exams and then we cram everything into our head. So we have to sacrifice sleep to be able to study.
So you realize that our body has been wired in a way that sleep is very important. So when you deprive yourself from that sleep, you realize that you don't have that mental energy to even concentrate. And when you don't have that mental energy to concentrate, you are not able, the things that you are even reading, you are not grabbing the concepts. So you get to even the examination. The reason why the anxiety is coming in is you can't even remember the things that you have studied. And you are anxious. So it's important that you, as I said, you know the triggers, your situation, what causes you anxiety. So if you think it's lack of sleep, then you need to have enough sleep. So we shouldn't glorify in ourselves that during examination, we have not slept the whole day. You are doing yourself harm than good. So you need to have enough sleep to be able to deal with your anxiety.
And talking about the sleep, some things a lot of young people like to do is to take energy drinks whilst they are writing exams. And that can actually affect your thinking pattern because your mind is very, when you take energy drinks, it makes you very active and then doesn't even make you sleep. And then now you can't sleep and then you go to the exam hall and you are blank. You can't actually think again because your mind was overworking and now it needs to rest. So one thing that we say to prevent anxiety is that don't take try and reduce taking energy drinks. And then when I say energy drinks, it cuts across everything, even carbonated drinks can also do that to you. A lot of sugar can do that to you. Caffeine can also do that to you. So as much as possible, if you know that you have anxiety issues, you try to reduce taking such things because it will rather trigger your anxiety instead of working on it.
I read something about the 3 R's. Is it 3? No, the triple 3.
Yes, the grounding techniques.
Those are the grounding techniques. What's that?
So the grounding technique is a way of coping. It's a coping mechanism where we say that you think about 3 things. Sorry, first of all, you look at 3 things that you can see with your eyes, 3 things you can feel, and then 3 things you can see. Is it part of your senses? So see, feel, hear, and touch.
And touch,
And touch. So you look at 3 things you can touch. So when you feel like you're anxious or you're anxiety and you feel like nothing seems to be going well, just think about it. Calm yourself and think about it. Can you see 3 things around? What are the 3 things you can see around? What are the 3 things you can feel? Can you feel things? And then also, what are the 3 things you can hear? Can you hear things and things? So it's more about your senses.
Okay.
Using your senses.
So as Edwina said, the grounding techniques, you are using your senses to make you stay focused in reality. You see, we have different forms of anxieties.
Okay.
Okay, so there are some anxiety that you feel that you are living in the past, probably due to past experiences. So let's say I'm scared of coming into public, social anxiety, being with people. When I'm coming, I'm perceiving a threat that something is going to happen.
Yeah.
Probably I'm thinking that I'm going to make a fool out of myself. Okay, so I use my senses to stay in touch. So let's say you can also use like your 5 senses, your hand. So you can use this as the 5 things that you can see now.
Yeah.
So what are the 5 things that you can see in this room? We mentioned them, the chair, table, water, and you mentioned them. And you go to the next finger, which is the 4 things that you can touch. So you can move around and see the things that you can touch. And you go to 3 things that you can hear.
Okay.
So what are the sounds that I can hear here? Probably I can hear the sound of the AC and the camera and other things. Then you move to 2 things that you can smell. What can I smell here?
Okay.
And you go to the last one, which is 1 thing that you can taste. You realize that by the time you finish doing all these things, the thing that you were thinking about, that is causing you the fear, you have even forgotten about it.
That. That's a smart one. That's a really smart one. I like that. But let me go back to David. So David Oye was asking earlier that, so how can I communicate my anxiety needs to loved ones or colleagues and set healthy boundaries? Who will take that for me? Edwina? Oh, Harriet, okay.
So one thing that I've realized working in a mental health profession is most people do not attach importance to mental health issue as their physical health. Okay, because of fear of stigmatization. I feel if I'm anxious and I go and tell a trainer, she might minimize the impact of what I'm feeling. So because of that stigma, I won't go.
Yeah.
Okay, but this also come back to our family, because one thing that helps in this situation is you having strong social support. So when someone comes to you and is confiding in you that I'm scared of the exams that I'm going to write, let's try to show some form of compassion and empathy. It helps a lot. You knowing that someone understands how you feel goes a long way to relieve you from the distresses that you are going through. You know that you are not alone in that situation. Helps. So you can communicate. And we should restructure our thought about mental health issues so that the importance that we attach to when you are having headaches and you run to the hospital, attach that same importance when you are having headaches, you are having anxiety, run to whoever is there to help you.
But that's the thing. So maybe there's family and friends, but they might not have the skills to help you. Just like how we're learning, and good morning to one of our viewers who said, Philip Apiafo, he says, I'm learning something new. I've also learned something new, because even this 333 and the 5 things you can see, hear, touch, etc., I never knew about it. But thinking about it, I realized how effective it can be. But my mother at home might not know this. So if I go to her and I tell her I'm anxious, she probably doesn't know that, okay, breathe in, breathe out is even a form of exercise to help you overcome anxiety. The other challenge is how accessible are mental health professionals like you to some of us?
Okay, so luckily now in all government institutions, government hospitals or clinics, there are clinical psychologists and counselors over there. So if you feel like you're anxious and you want to see a counselor or a psychologist, just walk into any hospital, any government hospital, and you get to see one. And now all universities now have clinical psychologists or a counseling center over there. So
every university in the country.
Okay.
Or some.
Most all governments.
Okay.
All government universities have, and now some private universities also have that. So you can walk there to see someone, and they will help you.
Okay.
They will help you. Sometimes we assume that it's difficult to assess such people, but the truth is that now they are everywhere. If you go to the hospital, you will see them. If you go to, even now, GS is trying to get all secondary schools and primary schools to have counselors available over there. So you can speak to them. And these people are trained. These people have been trained to actually help you. So don't think that you will go there and they won't help you. That's what sometimes people fear, that, oh, if I go, they won't help me.
Or can I even trust them?
Or can I even
This is a total
trust them?
stranger. How am I going to open up to a total stranger about what I'm going through?
So to become a doctor, where you need to get a license, to become a psychologist, you need a license from the Ghana Psychological Council. And so to get this license, you'll be told that if confidentiality is big, if you go and tell somebody's case to someone, you will be penalized. Your license will be taken from you. And even as little as even sharing information like this platform, I come and tell people, oh, I have this student, or mention a name, and then I tell the person exactly the case. My license will be taken from me. So that's how serious mental health or psychology has been taken in this country now.
That's great. But in cases where we don't have the counseling department in my school, for example, and I have to rely on my teacher, or at home I have to rely on my parents, what advice would you give to these other adults in our lives who can help us? What would you say to them?
So what I would say is, you don't necessarily need a skill to be able to help someone. Okay, sometimes there are some things you can do to relieve the distresses, but when you feel it's beyond you, that's when you refer. So as parents or mentors or pastors, we should try to show some compassion and be open, so that the people around us, the young ones, will be able to come to us to share their problem with us. The reason why most people don't go is they are scared of the reactions that they will get from them. So we should show compassion. If not, you push them away and it will turn into something else. It will go into the extreme that we might say, oh, it's too late. So we should try our best to self-accommodate them and be able to provide the services that they need from us.
All right. Well, Anita Nyamiye Mensa says, hi, Bella. It's a delight to watch you always. I want to give you an instance when you were on a major platform. Oh, I want you to give an instance when you were on a major platform and had to deal with anxiety in the moment. Every single day of my life, I feel anxious. The first 5 seconds of my introduction, trust me, I'm anxious. It's when I land with my first sentence, that's when I relax. So now I'm going to even learn how to do the breathing exercise as well. Usually I don't do that. I just go on stage and I'm like, okay, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. But I like that, and I like the 5 coping mechanisms. So Anita, I'd like to hear from you how you've also been feeling anxious about certain things. Beatrice Naki Mangezi says, God bless you for this discussion. I've learned something new. Stella Alowodo is actually watching us from another bank. And Stella, just the fact that you've even decided to watch us live while you're still at work in another bank shows that, first of all, you're likely to get a job at Absa very soon. Say amen to that. And then secondly, I mean, it's also good that you learn to deal with some of these challenges even in your bank as well. She's in Swami branch. I won't mention the bank name. If it's not Absa, forget about it. So we would like to hear from a few more of you, I mean, before we wrap up. But we've talked about these strategies. I don't know if these are long-term strategies, or do we actually have long-term strategies for dealing with anxiety?
Yeah, it depends on the condition. As I said, there are different types of anxiety. We have social anxieties, we have generalized anxiety disorders and all those things. So there are some that you can use in the moment. Others you need a long-term therapy, or some even requires medication.
For anxiety?
Yes.
Is that when it becomes a disorder?
Yes.
Okay, explain.
So when it becomes a disorder, then that means you need a medication. A psychiatrist will need to see you and do assessment and give you some medication for you to be able to manage your condition. And when you are giving the medication, we just don't leave you like that, because there might be a root cause for that anxiety. So that's when clinical psychologists or counseling psychologists also come in. So the medication will relieve you from the symptoms and the distresses that you are going through at the moment. But the root cause would have to be dealt with a clinical psychologist.
So that's what I want to understand. How does it then become a disorder? What happens?
When it interferes so much in your daily function. So you are a student, because of anxiety, you are not going to class, and it has persisted for over 6 months and the rest.
But is that not depression?
No, we have different. You see, there's comorbid between depression, anxiety, and stress. So each of them can affect the other. So we have depression. You see, anxiety, because of the fear, I don't want to go. I don't want to be in the midst of people. I will isolate. And the more I isolate myself too, it can also lead to depression because I'm thinking about a whole lot of things. I'm sad and all those things.
Yeah.
So depression comes with some form of sadness.
Okay. But anxiety doesn't.
Anxiety is excessive worrying
Okay. Or fear.
or fear.
I see. Trust me, I'm still trying to separate the two. Like, it's quite heavy in my mind. But it gets to a point where you need medication. So what kind of medication would someone need? Is it?
So you can, the psychiatrist will
psychiatrist.
prescribe the medications that you
You
need
need
To help you
take-
what? Rest, sleep?
calm
or-
you
to
down.
calm you down.
Yeah.
So they are antidepressants, anxiolytics that they will prescribe
But it has
you.
to be prescribed
Of course.
from the
You cannot
psychiatrist.
self-medicate.
No,
Yes.
you can't
They have to do
self-medicate
their
at
own
all.
assessment to
Assessment.
know the type of medication
Patient.
that will work for you.
So is it wrong then that maybe I'm always anxious about things? So I decide to take, walk into a pharmacy, buy an antidepressant or
wouldn't?
a drug that makes me sleep.
No,
they
they
won't
won't
even
sell it
give
to
it
you.
Okay.
You need a
it won't-
prescription
you need
to
a
buy
prescription
those
because
drugs.
every,
Oh.
you need to see a psychiatrist to be able to prescribe such medications to you because maybe your friend might be saying she's taking this medication to calm her down, but that same medication might not be helpful for you or might not be good for you. So that's why you always need to speak to the right person to prescribe such medications to you. And
see,
most of the
that's
time, you can't buy it on the counter. They
Well,
won't sell it
I
to
hope
you.
all the time you are not allowed to buy it, off the counter
No.
because these are very serious drugs.
Yes.
And would advise you on this platform, if you're going through any kind of anxiety, please make sure you see a health professional so that you can be prescribed the right drugs. That's if it's gotten to that point. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it'll help you to calm down. So final words. I want us to wrap up at this point. I don't want us to keep talking about this for too long. I think we've given out the nuggets that they require. So final words from both of you. Harriet.
Okay. So one thing that I would say is anxiety robs us, or anxiety is like we using today's energy to work for tomorrow's activity. So it robs us of the happiness you are supposed to enjoy at the moment.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't put ourselves in a situation that will cause us to feel anxiety. And we should also know that it's okay to feel that way. But when you feel it's overwhelming, seek professional help
Okay.
and you'll be okay. You are not in it alone. That's why counseling psychologists, clinical psychologists are all over the place to help you. So even if your parents can't help you, we have opened our arms. You can run to us and we'll be willing to give you all the needed assistance that you want.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Edwina.
So my final word is to teach you how to do the breathing technique.
Awesome.
Because it's very helpful. So, sometimes you're over there, you're feeling anxious, you have a paper and all that, and then you don't know what to do. And you're stuck. You can't speak to anybody. You should learn the breathing technique. So we'll all try the breathing technique.
Okay.
So first of all, you sit down very relaxed. No
you don't
tense.
cross your legs.
No.
Okay.
Don't tense your body, anything. And then let's try. Let's breathe in and breathe out. So you breathe in from your nose and then you breathe out slowly from your mouth.
Okay.
So you breathe in. So when we are breathing in, we count 4 in our head. 4. So breathe in. 1. I'll say it loud because I want you to hear. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You keep it in and you count 8. You count 7.
Yay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you breathe out and count 8. 1, 2. So when you are breathing out, bring it out, not fast, but slowly. From your mouth, it can come from your ears, wherever, but it should be slow. So you count 8, and then you bring everything out. And then when you're breathing out, make sure that you release every tension from your body. So if you have to, just whilst you're bringing it out. So let's try it again.
Again?
Yes. So this time we'll go fast.
Let me breathe normal for a while because all that while when you were talking about it, that was like 30 seconds. I had to hold my breath.
No.
Okay, let's go.
So let's go again. So breathe in. Breathe out.
So,
breathe. Yeah.
sorry. So when you breathe in, you should take in the breath in 4 seconds.
Yes.
Hold it for 7 seconds.
Yes.
Before you breathe out.
For 8.
Okay.
So let's go again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.
How many times do you have to do this?
So you feel relaxed.
Okay.
And it helps. Sometimes I've done it for people and they just fell asleep.
I was just going to say, actually, as I'm doing this,
Yes.
I'm starting to feel sleepy.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I cannot mention the business because I don't know if it's been approved. So I cannot be promoting. But she says that she tried all the options. It didn't work till she met this person on Instagram. And that's when she became okay. Christabel Sam says, what message will you give to someone who's struggling with anxiety and feels they're alone? Christabel, you joined us quite late. We touched on this, but for the sake of this conversation, I'll let our psychologist touch on it briefly. Philip Apia Ofori says it is quite heavy indeed. So the final one, what message would you give to someone who's struggling and you want them to know that they're not alone?
So you have to know that there's help available for you. So you don't need to be in your room thinking that you are going through the situation all by yourself. So you can walk to any hospital, any government hospital. There are even private sectors that have psychologists to deal with psychological issues. So you can walk to any of them and they will give you the needed help that you need.
And just a reminder, you are not alone in this one. All of us, at some point or the other, have faced anxiety. And I face it every day. Listen, before I do my intro on New Day every morning, I'm anxious. So just in case you think that some of us are born to do this, we also get into that space. You just have to learn to understand yourself, your system, and learn to cope. So I hope you try the breathing mechanism or the 5 things.
Grounding techniques.
5 grounding techniques. So you can use your fingers. So first one is 5 things you can see, 4 things
you can touch,
3 things
you can hear,
okay,
2 things you can smell,
and then
1 thing you can taste.
Very easy, very convenient, and I think I like that. I'll remember it and do that. Thank you so much. And just before we wrap up, I have a quote for you, and it's from author Jody Picoult. He says that anxiety is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you very far. Very deep quote, I must say. Rocking chair, you're going back and forth, but you're stuck at one place, and that's what anxiety does to you. So whenever you get anxious, just remember the rocking chair and realize it doesn't take you anywhere. It leaves you at one spot. So you need to get over it and do better for yourself. And so that's how we'll wrap up. I've been speaking to 2 amazing individuals, and I think that if you're at the University of Ghana, you should find Edwina and Harriet. Whenever you have any challenges, go speak to them. So Harriet Osei-Bones, who's a clinical psychologist at the University of Ghana, and Edwina Pinsel, counseling psychologist. What's the name of the department?
Careers and Counseling Center.
Careers and Counseling Center. Which part of campus is this office?
So we are all over campus.
Okay.
So whichever campus you find yourself, whichever University of Ghana campus you find yourself, you just ask for the Counseling Center and you'll be directed. So we are on the main campus, Kolebu campus, and City campus.
City campus as well.
Yes.
Are you at UGBS too, or?
UGBS is in Legon
is on campus, so you have to come to main campus too.
Yes, so if you're at UGBS, we are around.
Yeah.
We have various offices around.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been exciting. Thank you so much for teaching us how to deal with anxiety. And I hope that you've also learned a thing or two. Just remind you, this is Absa Ready to Work. We come your way at least once every month to have a conversation about things that, pertain to your life, survival, employability skills, all that, and coping at work and in your business and with your family. Every single thing, we touch on it. And we have developed some modules that we want you to participate in and complete. And that way you also become better and you develop your skills. Where do you find those modules? Just download the Absa Ready to Work app on Google Play Store, on iOS, or also on Huawei Shop. And when you download it, just go through the models and complete it. And you'll be surprised at how amazing that can change things around you. We'd like to hear from you once you're done with that. And if you have any questions at all, always remember to join us on social media at Absa Bank Ghana Limited on Facebook, also on Instagram at Absa Ghana, just type your message. There'll be someone there to help you. And if they cannot help you, they'll transfer you to a professional so they can help you as well. And in doing all this, we want to remind you that your story matters. It's important that you tell us your story, you share your story, because in sharing your story, you are helping other people, and we would also be able to help you. So thank you again for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. My name is Perla Mundi. I've been here with Edwina and Harriet, and we'll come again next month with another edition of Absa Ready to Work. Until then, enjoy the rest of the day and make sure you open an account with Absa. And those of you who are watching us from the other banks, it's time to join Absa. We love you guys. All the best. Bye.
Was an innovative program, and it really empowered me so much, and it helped me to understand more about entrepreneurship and the challenges. Yes, there will be challenges, but you have to go forward to the challenges, approach it and face it. Don't run away from it. The program was an innovative program, and it really empowered me so much, and it helped me to understand more about entrepreneurship and the challenges. Yes, there will be challenges, but you have to go forward to the challenges, approach it and face it. Don't run away from it. The program was an innovative program, and it really empowered me so much, and it helped me to understand more about entrepreneurship and the challenges. Yes, there will be challenges, but you have to go forward to the challenges, approach it and face it. Don't run away from it.